Welcome back. As always, be sure to leave a comment if you've any added this video. If you have any comments about the channel in general, or you have any topics you want me to make a future video on, let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to check out my other channel, YC Games. It's the one with the orange logo. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Rainbow Six Siege is a game I've been wanting to make a video on for quite some time now. If you do watch my other channel, YC Games, you know that me and my friends play this game quite a bit. Like, we enjoy the living hell out of it. And for good reason. It does a lot of things right, and there's a lot of things that this game does that other games should take as an example and follow in. Now, it's not without its flaws, and I'll get into that. And I'm not necessarily praising like, oh, it's the best thing ever, because that's not true at all. Like I said, it has its flaws. But this video is going to be more about the things that Rainbow Six does and what Ubisoft has done with this game, and what other games should kind of use as an example going forward. Because, especially lately, it seems there's a lot of games that just do really crappy things, and it bugs me, because the state of the gaming landscape, like, there's a lot of promising things, but there's a lot of things that are very, very negative. And I think that Rainbow Six has a lot of good examples for how a game should be done, mostly in terms of monetization and the longevity of the game. So that's what this video is going to be about, kind of pointing out those things about this game, how other games could take example from it. And I'm also going to point out its flaws, because let's be honest, there's a lot of flaws in this game too. So let's move on to that. If you guys remember way back, I think it was like over 3 years ago now, because I'm pretty sure they're on their year 4 DLC, Rainbow Six Siege had a rough start, like the roughest of starts you could get. When it started out, there were bugs everywhere, constant server issues especially, like you could barely even get into a game. And on top of that, it was just bare bones. Like, it was just multiplayer. And at the time, that's when a lot of games were going to just multiplayer. And everyone hated it. And no one wanted just a multiplayer game. Everyone wanted something else. And for good reason. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, when a game traditionally offers some single-player experience, when they cut that, it sucks. Like when Black Ops 4 did that, absolutely ridiculous. That should not have happened. But, not talking about Black Ops 4 here, I'm talking about Rainbow Six. So it was a rough start. And I got it day one. I played it for maybe a week and then got bored of it and set it down for the longest time. And it wasn't until probably a good like half year later when I actually picked it up again. Like, it was a while since I actually picked this game up again. And boy, am I glad I did. Because it has turned into a very good game. And that's because, while yes, it had a rough start and everyone was counting it out. Like, I watched YouTube reviews. Everyone that was talking about this game saying it was just a phase. It was just a fad. Like, it was just basically a compilation of a bunch of neat ideas, but nothing really good on. You know, the destructible environments, the different operators, the different operator abilities, like the gadgets. It was all just a series of neat ideas put into a very, very piss-poor package. And I'm not disagreeing with that. When it launched, it really was that. It was just a lot of really cool ideas, but absolutely executed in the worst possible way possible. So, here's the first thing that Ubisoft and, well, I guess Rainbow in general, did right, is they didn't give up. A lot of companies, especially now, but back then too, like, I guess anytime really, if a game underperformed, they just gave up on it. They're like, well, I guess people don't want to play it. That sucks. I mean, we got our money from people that bought it day one because, you know, those morons. But, hey, we're not making any money off this anymore. Let's move on to the next project. But they didn't do that. They stuck with it. They fixed it. And yes, there are still bugs on occasion, and there are some still server issues, but they fixed most of them fairly quickly. And they did it in a way that was just good for the community, because they're very open with the community. I don't know necessarily in the beginning, because like I said, I kind of stopped following it. But in the later years, they've been very open about what they're going to improve on each different update, each different season, what's going to change. And that alone is good. Most importantly, the fact they didn't give up. That's the real important part I want to stress here, is that they never gave up on the game. They always worked to improve it, and they wanted it to succeed. And eventually they got to that point where it succeeded. And this is a beautiful example that a lot of games can take, because there's a lot of games recently that came out broken as hell, and they've just been given up on. Easiest example to make is Anthem. I didn't buy Anthem. I got a buddy that did, and he regrets it. And I don't blame him for regretting it. Because it was such a good idea. Everything Anthem is it's such a good idea, but nothing is like capitalized on. Like I haven't, like I said, I haven't played it. I didn't buy it, but just watching gameplay, watching him play, listening to him what he says about it, and like watching other YouTubers about it. It's such a good idea. There's so much good there. It should have been the easiest win for EA. But they messed up. They messed up so bad. And then they're just going to kind of give up on it. The latest rumor, I believe, that I heard is that they're going to do like a hard reset. Like basically just start from scratch, say, okay, that was Anthem 1, now we're working on kind of Anthem 2, but really it's just a reboot. Like, I don't know. It's just... That's probably what needs to be done, but I don't want them giving up on it either, because it is such a good idea, and I want to play the game it's supposed to be, because that looks like a really cool game. But the game it is now is just terrible. But they shouldn't give up on it, even though I really feel like they're going to, if they haven't already. The biggest reason Rainbow Six has had this big of a player base for this long is because of its DLC. And it does the DLC so right. Because whenever some new piece of content drops, it is potentially free for everybody. And I say potentially because you do have to play the game enough to unlock it, I guess. So, if you're not aware, how the DLC works in Rainbow Six is every few months, they will start a new season. And with the new season, ranks get reset. Usually a new map or a map rework is added. And 2 new operators drop. And that changes the game quite a bit. And that's why it has such longevity. Because the game is constantly changing. Every few months, there's just that one little bit extra that changes something. Whether the new map, you have to learn a new map and learn all the new, I guess, spots of the new map. All the different angles and the shooting ranges and whatnot. So that changes that. But more importantly than that, the 2 new operators. Because each operator has its own unique gadget or ability or whatever. And that has the potential to change the game dramatically depending on the operator and depending how overpowered or underpowered or whatever they are. And with each new season, day 1, if you have the season pass, because every year they have a new season pass, you get the operator for free. The operators for free. But if you play the game, not even really that much, because I'll be honest, I don't play it all that often, and I usually have enough of the in-game currency to just buy the operators after I believe it's only a week. After a week of the, premium players having it because they have the season pass, they're open to the public, but you have to pay quite a bit of renown for it, renown the in-game currency. But like I said, I don't even play it that often, and I usually have enough, so it's not a stupidly high amount that is just ridiculous to get. And the best part is, it doesn't even really incentivize you to get the season pass, because the only thing season pass really gives you is that week early. The operators are free, and I think you do get a little bit more renown, per match. At least you used to. I don't know if you do anymore. It's been a while since I got a season pass. And then that's only good for cosmetics or the loot boxes. So there's really no incentive to really buy the season pass unless you're just really that lazy and don't feel like playing enough to unlock the in-game currency to get the operators for free. So that's really good, because a lot of games that have these kind of subscriptions or season passes or whatever, they really, really tend to push towards, hey, it'd be a lot easier if you get the season pass. You should get the season pass. It's a lot cooler over here with these guys with the season pass. It's really not that bad. I've never really been compelled to get it. Ever. I did, I'll be honest, in full transparency, I got the year 1 season pass just because it came with the game, because I was really excited for the game when it came out. And I got the year 3 season pass, I believe, because I played a lot of year 2, and I had to do quite a bit of work to get all those operators because I took a long break and didn't have enough renown. So I'm like, screw it, year 3 starting, I'll skip the year 3 so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I haven't bought any year 4, and I have, I think, all the operators. I don't know, I guess it's been a while since I actually played the game. I don't remember who all I have. But, like I said, it does not incentivize me to really get the season pass. And a lot of people do get it, and that's great. That's awesome. That's keeping the game alive. Honestly, that would be the biggest reason for me to buy it, is just so I know that they're getting that much more money that they know, oh, people still want this game, they're putting money into it. That's the biggest push for me to get the season pass. Now, the reason I bring up how the game handles DLC is for two big reasons, as far as other games are concerned. Number one, you don't have to buy into it. They're still making their money. They're still, making enough at least to continue supporting this game and continue putting the love and care into it that it needs. Other games should see that, okay, you don't have to push everyone to buy the DLC. Not everyone needs to have it. And two, every change-up, every new season that brings up some change-up with the different operators and the new map, it gives people a reason to continue to play the game. It switches up. It makes it more interesting. It shakes things up than what we're used to. And that's great. Every time they add this bit of content, it makes the game different. So we're not constantly playing the exact same match every time. And that's why other games should follow this example. Because a lot of times they'll add some DLC, let's say Call of Duty, for example, just because it's the easiest idea. When they add a new piece of DLC, what do they add? Map packs. Okay, that doesn't really change up the game. That just adds a few more maps. And yeah, that's great, and it changes up those maps. It's fun to just try those new maps. Nothing about the game really changes. That's why Call of Duty, people only play it for 1 year, because the next Call of Duty comes out. But that's the biggest reason Call of Duty really isn't played that many years in a row. People don't stick to the same Call of Duty unless it's for nostalgia purposes, or they just really hate the next installment and need to play Call of Duty, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a huge Call of Duty fan. I just know I'm not a huge fan of the DLC they add because it's just maps. It doesn't change the game at all. But Rainbow Six, every time they add a new season, it changed up the game to some degree. Not necessarily something extreme, but just enough to make me want to play it again, just to see the new changes and what's different. Now here's where I think I'm going to lose some people. Because the Rainbow Six community is an interesting one. And this really doesn't have a lot to do with the developers, but I guess they kind of created this environment, so it is kind of on them, I guess. I guess the way Ubisoft handles their community, it's fairly well. Like I mentioned earlier, they're very open about what's going to be in the updates. What's changing, who's getting nerfed, who's getting buffed, all that jazz. They're very open about it. And they seem to be open to suggestions as well. Problem is, they tend to take the side of the pro players, which there's a huge gap between casual and even hardcore ranked players. Me personally, I love the game. I like to have fun with it. I do not take this game seriously at all. If you watch a single one of the YC Games videos, you would know. A lot of those matches take place in ranked. That's me getting ranked. And I simply do not care what is going on ever. And my friends are great because they go right along with it. Yeah, they kind of care about their rank, but for the most part, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter to any of us. We just go out there to have fun. So we mess around a lot, even when we're supposed to be taking it super serious. It's ranked. So I have a lot of fun with it. The problem is when the developers take the side of the pro players and they nerf and buff whatever operators depending on what the pro players think need to be nerfed or buffed, that can kind of leave us casual people behind sometimes. Now, not always. A lot of times the different changes they make are necessary. They are needed. But man, it'd be nice if they took our side once in a while. But I get it. It's supposed to be a really competitive game, so obviously they're going to take the side of the more competitive players. So I'm fine with that. I got nothing against that. But that's kind of just the issue with the community in that sense. But more talking about the individual community, player to player, because that is a lot different. Now, full disclosure, I primarily play on PS4, which in my experience has been a lot less of a toxic environment than, primarily Xbox. I don't really play a lot of PC, if I'm being honest. so I don't really know how the community is on there. But on Xbox, people are just very mean. But on PS4, it seems people are a lot more open. So, I'm not saying everyone is. I've definitely come across those assholes that are just mean and like, oh, why aren't you doing better? Rah, rah, rah. Get good at the game. What are you doing on my team if you're not doing good? Rah, rah, rah. Whatever. But in my experience, if a player is struggling, especially a new player playing by themselves, this is a hard game. It really is. It's a hard game to get into, especially if you don't have any friends teaching you the ropes. So, in my experience, I have come across quite a bit of people helping out people. And I think that's awesome. Because it is a very, very tough game. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're new to it, you've never played, you might be really good at first-person shooters, but this is a much different first-person shooter than, say, Call of Duty. There's so much to take in. There's the different operators, there's the destructible walls, there's the breaching options, there's just everything going on. Especially later, now, we're at this state where there's just so many different operators, and each one does its own thing. You have to know pretty much what every single operator does so you know what you're going up against every single match. And that's really hard to be new at the game. So that's why I've seen a lot of people helping out new players. And that's awesome. I love to see that. I'm one of those people where I don't really go into game chat that often. Usually, like I said, I play with my friends, so I'm not really in the game chat. But when I am, I want to help out. I want to try to help people when they can. I'm not good at the game. I know I'm not, but I know enough about it I can teach the basics. Like at least what every operator can do. Not necessarily how to counter everyone, because like I said, I'm not that good. I'm aware of that. But I want people to enjoy this game. I want this community to grow. And from what I've seen for the most part, so do a lot of other people. Now, like I said, there's a lot of assholes out there, a lot of people that just, oh, get good, you're on my team, you're ruining my rank, even though we're in casual. I've honestly had that argument with people. I've been in casual matches with random people, and I've been bitched at because I was ruining his rank, even though we were in casual, and that does not affect your rank. But that's a rant for another day. But for the most part, it's a good community, it's a solid community. And so I guess if you haven't tried the game yet, give it a try, but definitely try with some friends because it's a lot easier and a lot more fun with friends. That about does it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I know it was a bit of a weird one, and there really was no point to it, but it's a game I've been wanting to make a video on for a long time because, like I said, in my YC Games videos, I play the game a lot because that's what me and my friends play a lot, and that's why I get a lot of the funny clips on. Is this game. So I really enjoyed it. I wanted to make a video on it for a while. And this is kind of, I guess, the first time I really had no other game to make a video on recently. I've been playing a lot of Outer Worlds, Jedi Fallen Order, Rainbow, a little bit of Modern Warfare, stuff like that. So I guess if there's any videos you want me to make on those games in particular, I'll gladly do that. Probably make a couple more rant videos because that was really fun for me. And there's a lot of things I want to rant about. Even though now people watched it, I don't care. I just enjoy making it. So, I don't know. If you have anything you want me to rant about, let me know, and I'll be sure to rant about it. But that about does it for this one. So, thanks for watching. Keep your stick on the ice. Remember, the rule doesn't know anything. I botched that outro again. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.